We had a bit of controversy here because we had a late push for Texas Tech at Houston, but we had already had it down as Army at UAB. So that's at least what we're going to start with because I'd already done research and didn't feel like last minute changing it. But we will pick the Texas Tech at Houston game on the side just to try and appease both parties there. But yeah, Army goes to UAB for an 11 o'clock kickoff. They're 1-3 with their one win being against Kansas State. But they're 7.5-point favorites on the road at UAB. Any thoughts on this game, guys? I can take it away if need be.
I don't have a preliminary thought, so go ahead.
The biggest thing sticks out to me immediately. UAB struggles to stop the run, allows over 200 rushing yards a game, and that's what Army obviously is going to want to do, like to do every year with Dwayne Coleman, Noah Short, and Cale Helms, which, interestingly enough, 2 of those guys are QBs and one of those guys is a wide receiver, and those are their 3 leading rushers. Dwayne Coleman and Cale Helms are the 2 QBs, and they basically can't decide who to start, as well as Dwayne Coleman and Cale Helms have both been beat up. So it's kind of a weird situation. And then Noah Short's a wide receiver who also led the team in passing one game because he threw one pass for 52 yards in that at Army.
And that leads
passing
the
lead
team?
for one game. Like he was the leading passer for a
that game, not total.
So just strange stuff. Not your normal Army team. They're typically a little better defensively than they are. But the one thing they're doing, like every Army team, they're 4th in the country in rushing yards.
Yeah.
So I think that's why they're favored by 7.5, despite being 1-3, is the fact that UAB struggles to stop the run, and Army is still running the ball well. I think it's going to be a pretty high offensive scoring game because of that. You're going to see a shootout. Jalen Kitna
Definitely
is UAB's quarterback, and he's pretty good. They've passed the ball pretty well. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, not your traditional shootout. You don't typically imagine a shootout where one team is going to have like 300 yards rushing.
Sure.
But that's probably where Army is going to finish. I mean, they average 288 a game. They rush the ball 83% of the time. Like you said, traditional. Can I go back and check right now? No, I can't. I would love to know last year what their rush rate was.
I have no clue.
I'm going to go try and find it real quick.
Yeah, the point total is 3 points higher than the State A&M game, and that's with 2 kind of viewed high-power offenses. UAB scores points. They've scored 24-plus in every game, including on the road at Navy and at Tennessee. And then, of course, in their 2 wins against Akron and Alabama State, they scored 24-plus. So they'll score, even against Tennessee on the road. But they already have kind of it's almost a common – it's going to be a common opponent, but it's almost like literally a common opponent in playing Navy already at Navy. They lost that game 38-24 on the road, which is a big difference. Of course, Protective Stadium is what they call it there in Birmingham. Should be an interesting crowd. I have no clue, to be honest. I've driven by it a few times, though. It's right off the highway.
From what I've seen, UAB fans are pretty unhappy with the program. They're very anti-Trent Dilfer still being there.
Sure.
So I'm not really sure how packed out the crowd's going to be, if it'll be anywhere close to that. It is crazy. They had a stretch where they were actually pretty good as a group of 5 team.
This is
fell apart, but
complete opposite of the game we were just talking about. Do you want to know where Army ranks in penalties?
First.
They commit 2 penalties a game.
It's Army. That's what they do.
Yeah, they just push guys around and try and run the ball. Yeah, disciplined. I don't have UAB stats up there, but
I don't think UAB is probably that disciplined.
Probably not. They ranked first in penalties a game, penalty yards a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, do we want to go ahead and pick this and then pick the Houston Texas Tech game as well?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna pick UAB to cover. I don't have to pick it in terms of winner, but I probably would pick Army to win. But I'll take UAB to cover the 7.5.
It's down to 6.5. So do you still have that?
I'll take Army to cover.
Yeah.
Then.
To take Army to cover 6.5. I agree. I love betting 6.5 point favorites. And I'll take Army. Like I said, they have a literal common opponent in Navy already and lost that game by 14. So give me Army to run it up and down the field in Birmingham on Saturday morning, and to cover 6.5.
Yeah, I'll also take Army. JP, so you think if you looked at if you bet every 6.5 point favorite, would you come out above 50%?
No, I think you might be. That's an interesting theory. I would like to test that in the 2-hour drive we have to Jackson here in a second.
Cool.
That's an interesting theory. I need to test that.
Speaking of favorites,
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's just more results that pan out to you covering 6.5 than the other team covering 6.5.
Sure.
But I just think it's a great betting philosophy to bet 6.5 and not, take the 6.5 points.
Yeah.
But you still, I think, obviously have to look into the teams and have some knowledge as well.
Sure. Yeah, you can't do that blind.
Like if the spread was open 9.5 and it's been bet down to 6.5, maybe you want to stick away from that. You've already lost 3 points of value.
Yeah.
So this line has only moved 1 point. But
Sure.
I'm going to test that.
Yeah.
I need to test that.
Speaking of tests and models, I haven't been talking about my model. I have to start pulling out who would be projected to win in some of these games. Let's see who would be projected to win between Army and. You can go ahead and start previewing the Houston Texas Tech game.
Did you make your pick, Sanders?
Oh, Army.
Cool. All right, and then real quick, for Cromie and Andrew McBride, really, we're going to pick the Texas Tech at Houston game. Can we get a spread for that game real quick, JP?
He's got up there as 10.5.
10.5, okay.
Yeah, and I believe it's still at 10.5 as
Cool.
well. It was 11.5.
Texas Tech,
gone down.
Texas Tech favored by 10.5. They're going to play in the cage, as we figured out it's called, or nicknamed.
Back up to 11.5.
Yesterday. Okay, 11.5. Both teams are undefeated. One feels a little more fluky than the other. Houston pulled out a win last Friday night by the skin of their teeth, blocking a field goal.
It was
just
an
in it to
atrocious
overtime.
watch.
It was pretty bad football. They have Connor Weigman. Their offense has been I think the best word to sum up Houston, they've been okay. Like, nothing special, nothing really stands out, but they just have won all their games. And that's the opposite of Texas Tech, where they've flashed a lot. Their defensive line looks great. Their offense can make splashy plays all over the place. So thoughts on this game, JP?
So Morton's going to start. They were asked about potentially starting Will Hammond, but their head coach kind of referenced that Hammond is on a 2-year contract.
I saw that. That was crazy.
Meaning he told teams to stop tampering with his freshman quarterback, and for 2, meaning that they have a long-term plan for Hammond post Morton this year.
Which, real quick, can I just say, I don't like Texas Tech. I mean, they're an in-state rival of A&M. Rival maybe is a little liberal there, but still. But I do love how they just, they don't shy away from the fact that they spend money and that, this is how it is now.
Yeah.
In terms of, them posting hype videos and there's oil rigs in the hype video, or their coach saying stuff like that. It's really weird, but I at least appreciate they're honest about it. But
Yeah,
you can continue.
It is a nice thing to see. I enjoyed his comment as well about Will Hammond. I think both quarterbacks are going to play, though. I think they'll use some packages with Hammond.
Sure.
They at least have shown on tape now that Hammond has the ability to throw the football down the field. And now when you bring in a quarterback in Will Hammond who's known to run the ball, well, you've seen him throw the ball down the field. Now you at least have to respect that. And it's different than with State, who if they bring in Camario Taylor, we've only shown he's only thrown it 5 times this year. So we haven't shown that Camario is trusted and capable of throwing the ball even in key moments, so you can load the box on Camario Taylor. For Will Hammond, I don't think that'll be the case. You may be more tend to load it because you think it'd be that more often than not, but you've at least seen him throw the football down the field, and so I would expect Texas Tech to use him to their advantage this Saturday night. They have a common opponent. They've both played Oregon State. Texas Tech won 45-14. That was after they got the ball to start the game. They're driving down the field, and there was a lightning strike in the area, and it was literally nearly a 3-hour weather delay at their game. 2 plays after the weather delay, they scored a touchdown on Oregon State. They blew them out of the water. Houston escaped. I mean, it was a brutal watch last Friday night. They escaped 27-24. Weigman did not play well. It was also it was brutal because Morton and I were not the quarterback for Texas Tech, but Morton Cromie. Were both hyping up Weigman, and then as soon as we got into the game, from whatever game was before it, I forgot what it was.
TCU Arizona State.
Yes. Weigman throws a pick immediately. So not a good look. It was a classic Weigman pick, too. And you'd obviously hope to not see that this weekend. I agree with you, Jack, though. Texas Tech has shown flashes both defensively and offensively. They've been talked about not only as a playoff contender, but by some people as a national championship contender. In the JP poll that was released on Tuesday, they are there's a 3.5 point gap between them and Utah, the next closest Big 12 team. So there's
that's crazy.
A clear separation in the Big 12, it feels like. And from Vegas' perspective, it is obvious that there is. And for a conference that we thought was going to be really cannibalistic and could be anyone's league to win, you could really not get taken apart for picking the 8th favorite to win it, because hell, the second to last favorite won it last year. They've at least at this point shown the separation, and so I think this weekend is as big as any for them in showing that there is that separation, because Houston is one of the bottom schools in the Big 12, at least from a talent perspective, and they've shown that so far that they are, from a talent perspective, one of the worst teams in the Big 12. And so they need to go out into the cage and blow out Houston.
Sure.
And I don't think they will, though. I think it'll be a close one. I just think night game, this
feels like a bit of a letdown spot,
It
honestly.
feels like a letdown spot. They had the bye week post-Utah, so maybe you're a little rusty. How healthy really is Morton? They didn't announce him being the starter until yesterday.
Yeah.
And that's was kind of surprising. He got lit up in the Utah game and got forcibly removed essentially from that game as much as he wanted to play, but he just wasn't physically capable. I want to see from Texas Tech them blow out Houston, but I just don't think they will.
I think I'm right there with you. That being said, the spread is 11.5 now.
Yes.
I do think Texas Tech will cover, but it'll still be something where you check the score at halftime, and Texas Tech's only up 3 or they're only up 7, but they're just the much more talented team. So I do think eventually that prevails and they pull away enough to cover. But I don't think it's going to just be a snot pounding in the cage. So.
Yeah, I just finished getting I don't have points. I'm not there yet as far as the model goes. I can only predict winners right now, which in this game is not too difficult.
No, it's not.
It does predict Texas Tech to win.
Sure.
As far as the spread goes, are we already picking spreads? Sorry,
Yeah, I just picked it.
I will be picking Houston to cover.
Okay.
Do I pick them to win? Because I kind of upset, big upset opportunity. Connor Weigman goes and has his Heisman moment.
If you want to be wrong.
It's also, I will say that it's pretty house money to pick a win, because we don't lose a
anything,
point if you predict the win.
Yeah,
so you might as well just call
then
your
I can
shot.
clip it and be like, oh, I'm right.
Yeah.
Houston to win. I'll pick it.
Okay. I will let you know when Houston loses then.
Yeah, you can just call me out. It's
It'll
fine.
be the same time as our game, so you could be scoreboard watching Saturday night.
True.
They kick off 30 minutes prior to us.
All right.
Yeah, I'm taking Texas Tech to cover, as already that was put on there as well. I think they'll backdoor cover, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They'll be
Late touchdown.
Down
Seven-
17,
they'll be-
and then they'll score a touchdown.
no, it'll be a 7-point game.
Texas Tech's going to backdoor
Tech-
cover.
Oh, Texas Tech.
It'll be a
okay.
7-point game in the fourth quarter, and then Texas Tech goes on a drive and seals it.
Okay, cool.
Wins by 14 in the cage.
That is
Yeah.
a fire name.
Well, it's a lot better than, I don't remember what it is now, but I was looking at their stadium name last night, and it's like TDECU Stadium or something like that.
Yes.
So they've decided to nickname it the Cage, which is a lot cooler
Tedeku?
than saying TDECU Stadium.
Tedeku would be, I guess, a pronunciation of it.
Tedeku Stadium.
Tedeku Stadium's kind of fire.
My guess is it's some corporation that
Yeah.
has bought the naming rights. So the Cage is a lot better than that for sure.